Mara here. Nice of you to join me. We are on part 4 of our landscape album that fits into the box series of videos, and we're going to be looking at page 3 in this video, and we are going to repeat ourselves a little bit to some of the previous pages that we've done, but I didn't want to say, oh, do this page, this is for page 2 and page 4. I know I would get a bit confused, so I thought it'd be nice to do them as a whole video set. So we'll there are a few differences, whereas on this one here I've cut out some of the elements from the papers and used that then as a little tag holder that goes in sort of like that, and then we've got our traditional of what we've used, our decorative edge there to create the top of the pocket, and then on the other side I've just added one flap instead of the 2 for the back of this page. Now there's nothing stopping you if you wanted to make this page here again. You could do it completely different. You could maybe just have a smaller flip and flap, or you could have it going a different way. So this is really, these videos are really just a starting block for you, so that you can look at the videos and then in your own mind you would think, I can do this, or I can do that. So it's just to give you a bit of inspiration to start your creative journey really on making memory books. So yeah, just think of things as you're going through and working through my books. Think of things of how you would do them, and that's how all our ideas then we can build on them, which is brilliant. So I have to say my inspiration came from an online workshop that I did a few weeks ago with Clare Charvill of My Creative Spirit, and she's been doing some online workshops. So I won't go too much into detail with this, but it's a nice sized box that we can fit 2 albums in, and it's got this delightful insert that drops into the top of the lid, that you can put like different bits and bobs in the top there, and it's just an amazing box. It really is. I thoroughly enjoyed doing that class. So yeah, so head on over there if you want to know how to make that. Also, just to say, I've not been sponsored for this video. This video is totally my idea. All my ideas are in this video. It is, as I say, I'm not sponsored. If I mention people, it's because I've enjoyed either watching them or taking their classes, or I love their products. And it's products that I've bought that I'd like to share with you. Before I do that, I will put a link up in that corner there, and that will take you back to part 1, or it will give you the playlist of this series of videos. So if you've got to this and thought, oh no, I don't know what, I've missed it, then click on that link and it will take you back to the previous videos. So going on to our pages now, as I say, we're going to do this page here. So to start with, we need our cardstock. Now, in all the videos I'm using today, I'm using A4 cardstock because it's a smaller book. There's nothing saying that you couldn't make this book up bigger. You could make it into maybe a bigger landscape book. You could you could do that as well. Obviously you just need to change the sizes, and Bob's your uncle and you'd have done it. So I'm just using the A4. Now I would have used black cardstock again, so that it was exactly the same as this album here, but to try and demonstrate using black card is near impossible, because the viewer can't see what you're doing, because obviously black just obliterates everything. So I've swapped to craft card for that purpose of the video, so that you can see what I'm doing and where I'm scoring and how much I'm cutting, etc. So let's get on to our page. So for our page, we need to cut down our cardstock to 3.5 by 10 3/4. Okay, so 10 3/4. So when I cut my cardstock, sorry, I should have said, I'm laying my card so that it's landscape on my trimmer. Okay, so we're cutting it in half, not in half, but we're cutting it down the middle, down the long side. And then we're going to put so then we're going to turn it around and cut at 10 3/4. Okay, let me just move that out of the way and bring in my little trusty scoreboard. And we're going to score this at, I'll turn it around that way, sorry, get it right in the end. If I got my score, this is why I've got about 5 or 6 different scoring tools, because they go missing. So we're going to score this then at 5 3/8. So 5 3/8. That should hopefully score that in the middle. Yes. So just crease that score line a bit. So then you should be left with a booklet, as we've seen in previous videos. So I'm going to mark, because we're going to put our decorative feature on here. Now, there we go. So I'm going to mark that on my cardstock at 2 1/8 on one side. There, 2 1/8 I've marked. There. And then I'm just going to fold it in half and butt up the folded edge to the top of my scoring board. And I'm going to mark that at 2 1/8 again. So I'm just going to open it out and take that score mark over, so that I've now got a nice sort of measurement that I can then put my decorative border die onto. So I've got something to work to. So I'm going to put that in place, and then I'm just going to run that through the die cutting machine, and then we should then hopefully it should be cut out. So then what we need to do is just cut just up to where the die has cut down to, because my cardstock is bigger than my die. That's why it hasn't cut out right to the edge. But so I'm just going to use my trimmer, and I'm going to trim down this edge here. I want a nice crisp cut, and I won't get it with my scissors, because I can't cut straight. So I'm just going to use my trimmer, and I'm just going to make an incision down to that penciled mark, and then I'm just going to trim that off like so. Now I haven't got that very straight, so we'll go in this side and just trim it off again. There we go. And then if you've got any pencil marks, you will want to rub them out now. Okay, so that is the basis of our card done. Oh, sorry, of our page done. Okay, onto the pattern paper. The measurements are 3 3/8 by 5 1/4. So I'm going to do my 3 3/8 first. By 5¼ That's 1, 2. Now I've cut out 2, but I'm only going to, well, I say I've cut out 2 because we need to put 1 so that it is on the back this way, like so. But I didn't need that full piece of patterned paper. I could have got away with, as I've done on previous ones, is just cutting this down to maybe 2½ or 2 3/4 inches, because I didn't need it because it's going to be covered. But because I'm using A3 paper, this one was already cut out, so that's what I've used it for. So we're going to ink our edges, and I'm just going to work out which one I'm going to use. I'm going to use that one, I think. That one's going to be on my front, and then this one is going to be in the back. I think that looks quite nice. Yeah. So if you ink your edges for your cardstock, and then the paper that is going to go behind the pocket. So that is that done, and then this is going to go behind the pocket. Okay, I know I didn't have to ink all of that, but I'd sort of done it before I thought about it. So we're going to, no, we're not going to stick this in place. We're going to wait. We're going to do this first. So using your scoreboard again, now I'm going to mark this one down at 2 inches. Okay, and I'm going to turn that over. So there's, and I'm going to mark it on the back, and I'm just going to bring that mark around to the front, like so. Now, when you put your decorative die on, you're going to want to go just a smidgen above that 2-inch mark. Okay, now that is going to just cut that out on the top of the edge of your card. Now I say just go just a smidge above, because if I did it at 2 1/8, it would have been too high. So that's why I said do it at 2 and then just work up. It gives you a basis then of how to put your die, how to place your die. So let's just cut this out. And take it off. Now I use a bit of removable tape to keep my dies in place, but I don't just use it once, I use it quite a few times. So that one has been used and used and used about probably the whole way through this video and making my memory books up. The other ones, now I just want to rub out those pencil marks. Just before I go ahead and ink up, I just want to make sure that that is exactly as I want it, and it is just right. I just wanted that slight look. That's just what I wanted. Okay, if it's not, you can always chop a tiny bit off the bottom until you get it right. So we can stick this part on now. And there we are. Like so. Okay. Now we need to put this into our book. So before we stick our back plate pattern paper onto the pocket, we need to stick it into our book. Now normally I would say mitre your edges of your hinge, but I don't want to on this, because if I mitre them, you will be able to see the mitered mark through your pattern paper, but having it straight lined, it makes it a bit more difficult to actually see where the hinge meets your paper. So I'm just going to put my double-sided tape on the back of our hinge for the time being, and I'm just going to put on the small, and this is just 1/4 inch tape, and I'm going to put a bit of glue on the top just to help that stick. So a little bit of glue just along the top there. Okay, so let's get this into place. So how I do it is I line the page with the fold in the hinge, and then I just fold it over, and that then does get it in the right place. Now, like so, and then when we put this over, it's going to hide that hinge piece that is on now, holding our page together. So we can put now some glue, like so. Oh, I've done it upside down. Not that you would see because that bit was hidden, but I liked that tiny little bit of script at the top there. So push that along, and then that is then your, near enough, your page done. Now I'm just going to put a bit of double-sided tape. Now this is just your 1/4 inch tape. I'm just going to put that along the bottom and then along the one side. Like so. Oh, that wasn't supposed to happen. There we are. There. And then just place it on. Oh, I've kind of gone a bit over zealous with that little bit there. So I've just got a bit of extra double-sided tape that I didn't really see that I had. There we go. So then that's the pocket. So cutting out our decorative pieces of our elements. Now we could use this. Now I quite like this element here, and I obviously like the roses because I've got the roses on there. So I'll just cut this bit up, and I'm going to cut out this one here. I quite like this one. Now what I might do is I'm going to speed this part up, or I might take it out altogether and come back when I've actually cut my pieces out. Right, I've cut out my decorative elements. Now I've probably cut out far too many for what I need. Now I'm not actually going to go around these with distress ink. What I may do is use a very light pink just to get rid of the white areas. Now I wasn't too keen on the dark edges that I did with the distress ink, so I thought we'll give this a go and see what this this looks like. So we just want to add just around the edges, and hopefully what it's going to do is just give it a little, it's going to tint the corners and maybe add to the shadows, which actually when you put the two up like that, I know which one I would prefer. So I would prefer the pink one. I think it's really makes that stand out a lot better. That's why I like to do these videos, because you're constantly evolving the way you craft and your ideas and how you do things, and you always find something that you can redo better, which I think is an amazing thing. So last one, and that then has got rid of all those white the white edges. Oh, one more. Okay, this is where we could do with a little bit of music, isn't it? I wonder what does everybody craft to when you're crafting along? Do you listen to a book? Do you have a craft channel on in the background? Do you listen to music? Do you sit? Do you craft in silence? I find it very difficult when I'm doing the videos, because obviously I can't have any music on in the background, or the television or anything like that, because it would distract from me talking. So I find it a little bit difficult with because it's quiet. Because I like to listen to audiobooks, or I might have some music on in the background, or I may even just have the news on or something in, you know, just to break the silence. Anyway, let's get back to the crafting. So what you need to do now, I'm going to use a glue gun. Now I think what I used for them was some 3D gel, but I need this to stick pretty quickly. So let me just bring my pad over, and then while that is heating up, we can start with arranging our pieces. So we've got our composition. So don't forget, we want to have that as a little pocket. So I think what I'll do is I may put that there, like so, and then have a small one there to cover that little gap, and then maybe put on, I need then a green. It's a nice green, I think. Just the green, just to go around the edge of my leaf. There we go. And then the leaf can go maybe at the side. No, it can't go at the side. Maybe there. Or maybe I don't need. Yeah, I quite like that leaf there. So I've got my composition, so we'll need to put this one down first. So I'm going to just roll it in my fingers so that we can create that nice curve with the paper, and then putting the glue. Now you just need the glue on the edges, don't put sorry, and on the bottom, don't put along the top, okay, because we need that to just stick down. We need it to have a little bit of a sort of a hole in there, okay, so we can put then our tag in. I'm going to put that one over the top. I might just cut that bit off there. Scissors. And I wasn't too keen on that little bit there, so cut that off. Now that's going to be hidden, so okay, and then that, I need to just lift that bit up there because I actually shouldn't have stuck that little bit down, but there we go. I've just opened it as well. So when you put this one down, only put glue on that side and along the bottom, not at this edge. And then the last one can go there to hide that gap, and then our little leaf can be coming off the edge. Like so. And then we can fit our tag, that whatever we make in there. Now we can save these pieces that I've cut out for maybe when we do the front of our book. Okay, so then, so that's page 3, front side done. So now we're going to work on page 3 on the back, and that was just the one single flap that we had that lifted up. Okay, if you want to, you could add the same as what I've done here, but I'm going to follow the book and just do the one flap. So all we need for this is our patterned paper, and that is going to measure 3 3/8 by 5 1/4. No, scrap that pattern paper. We need to actually work on doing our flap first. Do beg your pardon. So the flap. Now the flap needs to be, let's measure this. Right, so this is 2 3/4. We said 2 3/4. Let's go down to 3. Now let's go down, sorry, so let's make this 3 1/4. You write this down so I don't forget. 3 1/4. And then what we'll do is we'll need, that allows us for 1/2 inch score for our glue tab. Okay, so let's go down to 3 1/4, and then this will be 5 1/4 for the across. So with your craft card, it is 5 3/8 by 3 1/4. Is that what I said? 3 yes, 3 1/4. Okay, bring your scoreboard in, and then we can score down the long side. So score down this side here at 1/2 inch, and then that gives you the glue tab that's going to hold that flap in place. So I am going to give our decorative edge to my corners, so I'm using the snub again, and bring this over and get that, so that is perfect. Okay, so we need to put our double-sided tape along the outside of the glue tab. Like so. And take that off. Then I'm just going to turn it round. Make sure you've got it up the right way. And I'm just going to butt it up to the edge of the page and then stick it down. And then that then is our flap done. Now you could put a little pocket in here as well. That might be quite a nice idea. You could you could put a pocket in to give that a bit more of a decorative edge. Well, let's do that. So let's put our paper on first. So we need to cut our paper for this. So the pattern paper is going to be 3 3¾ by 5 1/4. So let's just pick up. Don't use this one yet. So we'll go with that. So what did I say? 5 1/4. Let me just check this. Yes. 5 1/4 by 3 3/8. Okay, and that gives that, then hides the glue strip of the little flap there. So I'm just going to ink these quickly. Oh, I didn't ink the edges of these ones. Okay, so stick this bit in place and the glue. Like so. Okay. Now let's think about what we're going to do with the pocket. So the pocket, just that way so that we can see. So the pocket we're going to make at, it's going to go if I make it at 2 1/2. Okay, so 2 1/2 and by 5, so that's 5 1/4 by 6 1/4. So did I say 2.5? Yeah, 2.5 by 6.25. Okay, so that's out of your craft card. So you might be able to find a big bit of offcut that you can use. So 2.5 by 6.25, and the scoreboard. Now we're going to score 1/2 inch on 3 sides. So 1 down the long side, and then 2 down the short side, so on opposite sides. Okay, so you kind of create that type of effect. Cut them off and fold them in. Make sure that you've cut enough off, which I could just do with a tiny weeny bit more. And a tiny weeny bit more. There we go. Like so. And then check it that it is going to fit. And it is. And then that's going to go over the top, so you're not going to see. It's going to be kind of a little hidden pocket. So let's put our double-sided tape along the bottom on the outside of our glue tab, like so, and then the 2 sides, 1, 2. Now I'm going to do one more thing that I've forgotten to do, and that is just to mitre these top corners here. Now all that's going to do is that's going to make sure that you don't see the top of the glue tabs. So take the double-sided off, and this one, and this one, and again sticking from the bottom. So stick the bottom bits first. So the bottom edge, stick to the bottom of the patterned paper, just lining it up, making sure that you've got it central, like so, and then just burnish that down, and then these two just fold in, and then they should just fall into place. Like so. That needs just to go out just a bit more. There we are. Like that. So then that's our pocket. Now before we put the pattern paper on, we can now end up and put our magnets on, because we need to keep it closed. So magnets are up here. Now, I'm just going to have a little quick drink of my tea, and then I'm going to do these first. So, tape. And on like so, and then get another piece of tape and put the sticky side up on top of the magnet, and then just let the magnetic pull that down. Then we can just stick it on. Now only thing is that is a bit too wide, so take that off and try again. There we are, that's a bit better. Now what I did there was I just trimmed that sticky tape down because I didn't want it to show when I put my pattern paper on. So then that closes that nicely. So I might need one more on the top there, but we'll see once we have got our pattern paper on. So we need then to cut our pattern paper at 1 1/8 by 1 7/8. So 5 1/8 by 1 7/8. Okay, let's try that. And we'll just use this that matches. So 1 7/8 by 5 1/8. And then that's going to fit on there. Again, inky edges. Okay, and glue. Oh. Okay, glue that on. And fix it down. And then we just need to cut 2 of these now. So let's measure this side. So this is going to measure 5 1/4 by 2 7/8. So 5 1/4 by 2 7/8. So check that. Yes, that's a bit better. 2 5/8, not 2 7/8. So that one can go there. And I'm going to just decorate my corners. It's getting a bit full now, that one. Again, ink the edges. So that's one. Just check. Yeah, I'm going to need one more magnet on there to keep them closed down like that. Go. So I'll just put some tape over the top. And then we can add this on there. Edges. Glue. And stick that on. Now I'm not going to do the labels or the photo mats on camera. You can do them yourself. All you need to do, as I say, is just what offcuts you've got you can use to make up a label. So things like this you can use as labels to go in. Just all it does is give you something to journal on. So you just can add little pieces that you've sort of cut off that are your offcuts. Or you can make some up yourself. So, you know, lots of ways that you can use to put your to get your journaling or ephemera on. You could also, if you wanted to put like have on the other a topper on there, but I'm going to leave that blank. You could decorate it with ribbon or buttons or die cut flowers. So there's lots of things you can do to, if you've got any chipboard pieces or grey board elements that you can colour, you can add that to your albums as well. So that then is page 3 done. So we've got one more page left to do, which is this page here. Now, and the back page, which is I've done the flap coming out this way. So we can do that we'll do that in the next video, and then we can get on to the front covers and then the two inside covers, and they wouldn't take very long to do. So thank you again for sticking with me and watching this video. I hope you're enjoying this tutorial, this series of tutorials. If you have, please give me a thumbs up, give me a like, and subscribe if you're not a subscriber. I would truly appreciate it if you could share my video to your Facebook page or something like that, so that more people can get to, well, maybe fall in love with making memory books. I would really appreciate it. Come and follow me on any of the social medias. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest. I have a blog, Twitter, so I'm on all of those. So I'll put the links down below to my main ones that I use. Also, I'll put a link in the bottom there to my Creative Spirit website, in case you wanted to go and have a look at how to make the box. Then you could click on that. So I think that is it. Oh, if you do subscribe, if you can hit the notification bell, all that's going to do is every time I upload, you will get an email come through to you to say that I've uploaded new content. It means that you get to see my videos literally, you know, first before anybody else does, so to speak, because you will get a notification that I've uploaded. So anyway, thanks again for staying with me, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.